All right, Paige, how are you doing today? So good to see you again.
Well, it's good to see you too.
Okay, yeah. So last time we met, we kind of got into the topic about, kind of discussing some of the grief that you're, currently dealing with, as a result of losing your brother. And I assigned you homework last time, and I wanted you to read a poem that kind of deals with, some of that grief and loss. The poem it's called "Flowers in the Garden" by Lisa Johnson. So I just kind of wanted to kind of process that and just see what that was like for you.
Right. Well, at first I read it actually last night before I came here because I knew it was going to bring up some stuff. So I read it, and when I read it at first, it really upset me because, just the fact of death right now is just a really sensitive thing. So I read it the first time, and I cried a lot, and kind of because when it was talking about like the flowers dying because it was winter, and that was around the time that my brother did pass. So it got really emotional at that point, and then I read it halfway through, and I started crying. So I put it down for a second and set it aside, and then a couple hours later, I went back to it, and then I read the whole thing, and then it talked about at the end how the flowers came back in the spring, and it was kind of good to know that even though he is gone, it is kind of what it is, but times change and things do come back to life after a while, and I might feel this cold depression and upset knowing he's gone, but I know in time eventually it will get a little easier to deal with and things like that, but at first it was really, really upsetting for sure.
Yeah, and I'm sure that must have been really difficult to deal with for those emotions, kind of coming back up for you.
Right, for sure, because once it was talking about like the flowers being dead, like all I kept thinking was, well, he's dead,
Yeah.
I'm not going to see him again, like it's over, it's done, like I'll never see a smile or, things like that. But once I read it again, it was kind of like, well, it's just kind of it's like a season almost. It's done, it's happened, and there's times that are going to go on. And I still have memories and things that I can think about, and nothing ever kind of grows back the same. Like it always comes back a little different. So.
Yeah. So it sounds like you were able to take that piece of work, that piece of art. It was a great poem. It sounds like you were able to take that piece of art and kind of apply that to your own life and the grief and loss that you're currently dealing with.
Right, exactly. And it kind of made me want to write a little bit because I was like, well, that must have been something they used because you could definitely see like the connection between the dead flowers and losing somebody and overcoming that kind of feeling. So somebody, whoever wrote it, Lisa Johnson or whatever, somebody used that technique to kind of move past it. So it almost made me wonder if I could do it too.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I definitely encourage you, if that's something that you're interested in, which it sounds like, I definitely encourage you to, maybe take on writing as a coping skill to kind of help you deal with some of those emotions and stuff associated with that loss.
It was a good read. It helped me at least kind of process. It made me grieve, like it actually made me express some emotion about the situation. Right. And it felt good to not feel alone, like somebody else went through it too. It might not have been a brother, but...
Right.